Clue by 3T Productions and Hasbro Interactive. Now there's been a lot of versions of this game. This is the 1996 PC release. This came with 3 CDs, each CD having a different case to solve and has several possible outcomes. And for the sake of explaining the game and demonstration purposes, I will be spoiling one of these outcomes. So you can play this game with up to 6 people, which I can't imagine how that would work, but I'll be playing solo here. So this one combines a point-and-click adventure with a whodunit game using full-motion video to tell the story. So in this scenario, Mr. Body is murdered, and it has to do with an imitation ruby patent, and everyone in the house seems to be involved in it somehow, so everyone's a suspect. Like the board game, you need 3 things: the who did the murder, the what weapon did they use, and the where did the murder take place. So you walk around the house looking for clues and interviewing the guests. When you enter a room, you can click on a clock and watch a scene from an incident that transpired in the room before the murder. These will help you understand some of the possible motives for the murder. So the first thing I found was a wrench with various fingerprints on it.
Wrench, fingerprints Mr. Body, Mrs. White, and Mrs. Peacock.
Possibly the murder weapon. I continued searching the rooms, then found a rope sitting under the dining room table, another possible murder weapon. But that's not all I found. On the chair were blood splatters.
Tests show blood to be Mr. Body's.
This seems to have been the room where the murder took place. I decided to talk to some of the guests about the rope. I asked Mr. Green about it.
Mrs. White asked me to get some string from her cupboard when I was in the kitchen. But of course I got it wrong. I took it into the dining room and gave it to her, but she wanted string, not rope.
After talking to Mrs. White, Mr. Green's story was confirmed. She did ask for string originally. Still, that doesn't mean this isn't the murder weapon. I then asked Mrs. White about the wrench.
I went into the library, and there was this great dirty wrench lying on the bookcase. It could have scratched that bookcase, and it's a very old one. I put the wrench back in the cupboard in the hall.
She also provided an alibi at the time of the murder, so I checked up with the other guests and her alibi held up. So thanks to this, I was able to eliminate 3 of the suspects right away. Mrs. White, Miss Peacock, and Professor Plum were all together. So this left Mr. Green, Mrs. Scarlet, and Colonel Custard. I continued looking around the house for more clues, and then I found this.
Gun recently fired. Fingerprints Mr. Green and Colonel Mustard.
So I questioned Miss Scarlet, who said she was planning to kill Mr. Body with that gun for some inheritance money. She was wearing gloves, so that explains why her fingerprints weren't on it. But then Colonel Custard stopped her from doing it. This does explain why Colonel Custard's fingerprints are on the gun. So what about Mr. Green's fingerprints on the gun? Maybe I'll go ask him.
No, I haven't seen a gun. I wasn't even aware Body kept a gun.
Oh really, Mr. Green? I think we found our killer. So I make my accusation that Mr. Green killed Mr. Body with a gun in the dining room. And it turns out I was correct. It then narrates the whole scenario, giving you the motive behind the murder and uses the video and images to tell the story. And actually that was pretty fun. The use of full motion video really helps you get into the whole story, and the detective stuff of interviewing suspects and evidence searching is absolutely great. There's little to complain about here, maybe not enough variety in the video footage, but still it's an enjoyable experience. So there you have it, Clue, the 1996 PC version. Not a bad little game at all. Thanks for watching.